Righty-ho, here we are back at the Volstead with Mark, and we're going to take a quick look at their new nitro tap they've got on. How's the nitro tap been going?
It's actually been received really well. We're, of course, not the first nitro tap on Riccarton Road, but we are the first in Christchurch to be serving craft beer through the nitro system. So, yeah, very well received.
And what have you got on the tap at the moment?
At the moment, this is Wigram's Crazy Mountain Rye. Wigram based here in Christchurch, and the Crazy Mountain is, fantastic little beer from those guys. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and I've had a wee taste. It's looking really good. Let's fill a pint and see how it goes.
Nitro, of course, is always interesting. You need to do a 3-point pour, made famous by Guinness.
Yeah.
Their famous 119 second pour. You can see the way that it actually settles through.
Yep.
There's the rising and the fall. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I reckon it's 30% CO2 in there, I think.
20% for us.
20%, yeah.
Yeah, so we're actually using a particular Salamex that's gone through. Again, the article with Bartlett and Corf explains a little bit more about the precise science that's behind it. But when you actually go through different processes, like we've got a good example of all three. The handball bags are a natural carbonation process from the beer itself. When you actually piece it together and it goes through there, there's no extra CO2 that's actually added for that. It's just the aeration of the pump as you bring it through. CO2, of course, adds in the carbon dioxide for it to be able to then be pulled through from the lines to create those really amazing beers, but that's, of course, because it is carbonated with CO2 to quite a high degree. That's where the bloated feeling usually comes from as well, naturally. And then, this is a 20% carbon dioxide to 80% nitrogen base to actually go
Look at
through.
that, yeah.
Some of
That action. Yeah. Pornographic.
Ooh, oh, and here we are. Nitro beer comes to Christchurch.
Nitro craft beer, you know.
Well,
There's been
nitro
nitro
craft
beer
beer,
around for a long time.
Guinness doesn't count. But no, it's
Guinness
good
and
stuff.
bodies. So it's certainly a nice process to watch.
It's just so creamy. A bit of a hazard with the old moustache, but no, not too much of a problem. And nitro beer, it's really interesting experience. It doesn't have that sort of sharp, spiky twang that CO2 has. People, if they're not used to nitro beer versus CO2 beer, you don't really realise how much of a flavour CO2 really has. It has an enormous flavour compared to natural, and it's sharp. It prickles on the tongue, and it can really take away from
Awesome onion rings.
from more complex, more subtle beers, and at the very least, it will kind of spike up above the more subtle flavours.
In the article from Bartlett and Corf, Ned's article about the nitro beer, he mentioned that the CO2 has a high acidity, so with the nitro beer you don't get that acidity, so a lot of the sweeter flavours can shine through a lot more.
I think he probably means an acidic taste rather than necessarily a pH to speak of, but it's a sharp taste that CO2 gives you. So with beers like this, lovely sort of malty things, this is Wigram's actually extremely good. This is one of the most striking Wigram beers I've had for years. They're Crazy Mountain Rye, and I'm sure there's a story behind the name, but who knows. It's just excellent. It's a good choice putting on the nitro tap.
Yeah, it's got a lovely body, a nice amber orange colour.
But yeah, ESBs, bitters, these sort of more subtle beers, just excellent on the nitro tap.
Yeah.
And stouts, porters, big thick beers, it just adds to the creaminess, really lets them shine through.
Body-based beers rather than your hop-based beers.
But don't take our word for it. Come into the Volstead, get one for yourself. It's
absolutely.
an experience.
That's a good beer.
Owe it to yourself. This has been the Sesh on location. We've got some onion rings to eat. Signing off.
Hells yeah.
Oh. Don't ring.